What do you think the deer you're hunting or wear Kevlar vest? What the hell you need 20 bullets for? You must be a hell of a terrible shot.
Hey guys, welcome back to Pro Gun. If you haven't already done so, please click the subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it. Today I'd like to talk to you about high capacity magazines and why we need them. Now, Brandon has made a lot of dumb statements, okay? But that was one of his dumbest yet. Obviously, he's never read the Bill of Rights, particularly the Second Amendment, or he would know it has nothing to do with shooting deer. And what doesn't he understand about shall not be infringed? So here is why I believe we need high-capacity magazines. Now, first of all, to a gun owner, they are standard capacity magazines. This AR-15 30-round magazine, this is standard issued, okay? This is a Glock 21 45 ACP, 13-round magazine. This is standard issue that came with the firearm. What the liberal states did was they came up with their own gun laws because they know they can't stop us on a federal level. So these liberal states just made these jerky laws and decided that anything over 10 rounds is considered high capacity. Fortunately, I live in the great state of Tennessee, and we don't have a magazine restriction. But prior to moving to Tennessee, I lived in the communist state of New Jersey, and Governor Murphy, in the middle of the night, with a swipe of a pen, changed the 15-round magazine restriction to 10 rounds. And if you were in possession of a magazine greater than 10 rounds, you would become a Class E felon. That's just brilliant. So now you take a law-abiding citizen, you make them a felon, but yet the bad guys still have their high-capacity magazines, right? The reason that the police departments went from the 5 or 6 round revolver to the 15+ round pistols is just for that. 5 or 6 rounds is not enough. Now, we fully support and respect law enforcement, but to say that law enforcement can have high-capacity magazines and we can't just doesn't make sense to me, because their lives are no more important than your families and your lives, okay? And here's the reason why we need the high-capacity magazines. If you go out on YouTube or Google and you search home invasions or carjackings, you'll notice that it's not unusual for there to be 3, sometimes 4 people involved, okay? Well, if you have a magazine restriction imposed on you of 10 rounds, and there's 3 or 4 people that break into your house, you're going to run out of ammunition, okay? So they're putting us in a vulnerable position, but yet the bad guys are allowed to carry however many rounds they want. If somebody is under the influence of alcohol or meth or fentanyl, it may take 3 or 4 rounds to stop them, okay? Well, you have 3 or 4 rounds times 3 people, 10-round magazine restriction, you don't have enough ammo, right? And the other thing to take into consideration is that it's not uncommon now for these bad guys to wear body armor. You may shoot a bad guy 5 or 6 times before you realize he's got body armor on, and now you're already at half of the capacity of your magazine. This is a extended magazine. This is a 26-round magazine for my Glock 21 to take the place of a 13-round magazine. Now, in a home defense situation, if you have this loaded up and you have this in your gun, it gives you quite a bit of ammo, okay? Because on a home invasion, if you get your gun out of your safe, you're not going to be able to have time to think to take your gun and take another magazine with you. Whatever is in your firearm is all you have. And if it's 10 rounds or 15 or whatever, it still may not be enough. And if you're disabled, you may not be in the position to find cover so that you could reload. So that's why an extended magazine like this is great. Now, these liberals tell you it's about saving lives. It's got nothing to do with saving lives. What it's got to do with is controlling us. They can't control the bad guys, so they're controlling the law-abiding citizens. And the reason it's got nothing to do with saving lives, is because they're claiming that a restriction in the magazine capacity reduces the number of people that die. Well, in my opinion, when it comes to gun violence, one dead is one too many. So what they arbitrarily did was they just pulled the number 10 out of their ass and said, okay, 10 casualties is acceptable because you're allowed to have a 10-round magazine. Well, that's just stupid. It's got nothing to do with saving lives. And I really would like to know your thoughts on this, because this is just a pet peeve of mine. If you're going to deem me competent and qualified to own or carry a firearm, who are you to tell me how many rounds I can have or how many rounds I'm going to need? You don't know how many rounds you're going to need. A firearm is a tool, okay? When you go out and buy a car, they don't tell you can buy a car, but you can't buy a car that goes over 50 miles an hour. Well, the same thing should apply, okay? When you consider that driving is a privilege, not a right, but owning a firearm is a right, not a privilege, then they shouldn't tell you that you can only have X amount of rounds in your magazine. So what I would do, I would join the NRA or any organization that is pro-gun. Write your representatives. Every time you see something like this stupid gun bills coming up, write to them and let them know. I mean, you have to be a little proactive. I constantly check my state to see what's going on, but fortunately the great state of Tennessee pretty much has no regulations regarding firearms, and I'm pretty safe here, but you never know. I still keep a watch out for it. Anyway, I would suggest you do the same. So I'd really like to know your opinions on this, so please leave me your comments. Thanks for watching.